everybody. Lord Tremendous here, got a battle report here for you. This is Game 2, the Shiloh Slaughter GT 2015. It's me, Lord Tremendous of the Tomb Kings, versus Casey Gilliand of the Dwarves. And this was fun because I haven't really faced Dwarves all that much, so it was exciting to be able to go up against these guys and run up against an army that I don't usually see almost hardly ever. So I was very excited to see that. This is scenario 2, and it's called Try It, You'll Like It, Don't You Trust Me. Kind of rapey, but I dig it, so it's cool. It was a Blood and Glory deployment, so basically, what is it, like 9 inches on each side is off limits, and then you go like 15 inches deep. And yeah, you get to beat the crap out of each other. And basically, whoever breaks the other individual's fortitude first, which is 3, and if you don't know what fortitude is, at 2,500 points, you have your breaking point is 3 fortitude, and for every banner in your army, you have +1 fortitude. That includes the BSB, and for your general, he brings 2 fortitude. So if you have 4 banners, a BSB, and a general, you have 7 fortitudes. 1 for each banner, 1 for the BSB, and then 2 for your general. And if your general dies, and a couple of your units with banners or your BSB dies, your fortitude goes down by that many, and once you hit 3 fortitude, your army breaks, flees, and you lose the game. In this GT, it's a little bit different. Instead, the first person to break the other person's fortitude gets a bunch of battle points. So you basically still lose the game, but you have hope at least. But basically, after the little nuances of this scenario is after deployment, pick a core unit with worth 125 or more points. If you don't have a core unit with 125 points, pick the most expensive one, roll off for ties. After the unit is chosen, roll a d6. If you roll a 1, that unit now has laced with a roofie. Basically, that unit eats a brownie, and this is the effect that it has. And the first one is laced with a roofie. Your unit is subject to stupidity and negative D3 weapon skill for the rest of the game, so you don't want the roofie one, that's bad. On a 2, you get laced with X-Lax, negative D3 to your movement to a minimum of 1 for the rest of the game. A 3 and a 4 is not a bad brownie. Unit can reroll 1 failed leadership test. On a 5, that's a damn good brownie. Unit gains Immunity Psychology and Devastating Charge. And 6 is Denver's finest brownie. Unit gains +1 Strength and Stubborn. First turn, player with the highest fortitude gets the +1 to their roll. So that's kind of neat. Victory conditions. I don't want to be a pirate. I want to be a walrus. Basically, if you win by 300 victory points or more, you get +5 battle points. Yeehaw, Chester's dead. The enemy general is dead or fled by the end of the game. Fled off the table, not just fleeing. You get 3 battle points. What a trip. Your test unit survived the game. You get 3 battle points. Living life on the wild side. Unit with fortitude in the enemy's deployment zone at the end of the game and not fleeing. You get 3 battle points. Sweep the leg. You break your opponent's fortitude first, so you get your opponent down to 3 fortitude first. You get 8 battle points, which is huge. And the last one is I may be down, but I'm not out. You break your opponent's fortitude second, and you get 3 battle points.
Assemble the army!
Here's my list, which is exactly the same as the last time. I have my Tomb King, Lord Tremendous. He's got a shield, Sword of Anti-Heroes, Armor of Destiny, Dragonbane Gem, and the other Trickster Shard. Then I have my 2 Lich High Priests. Queen Elizabeth is a level 4 wizard with the Staff of Sorcery and Lore of Nehekara, and Dark Vincent is a level 3 wizard with the Dispel Scroll and the Lore of Undeath. My hero choice is my Necrotex, Sinister Jeffrey. He's got the Sword of Striking, Dragon Helm, and the Iron Curse icon. My core choices are a unit of 5 skeleton horse archers with a banner, 58 skeleton warriors, the Fateless, with full command, light armor, and shields, 12 skeleton archers, the Queen's Guard, with full command, and 2 units of 3 chariots. One is Rolling Bones, with a musician banner and a banner of eternal flame, and the other one is the Thunder, and they have a banner and a musician. My special choices are 3 Medusa Stalkers, those that gaze, as well as a Cimmerian War Sphinx, Kitty! With Fiery Roar. And my rare choices are my Hyro Titan Nad the Protector, a Screaming Skull Catapult, and a Casket of Souls. My opponent's list is as follows. He has a Dwarf Lord on an Oath Stone with a shield, Master Rune of Smiting, Rune of Might, Rune of Stone, and 2 Runes of Warding. His hero choices are a Master Engineer who's basically naked, a Rune Smith with a shield, the Rune of Spellbreaking ×2, and the Rune of Stone, another Rune Smith with a Rune of Spellbreaking, And a Thane, who is his BSB, Master Rune of Grungy, and the Rune of Stoicism. His core choices are a unit of 40, or his core choice anyway, is a unit of 40 Longbeards with full command, great weapons, and a Rune of Stoicism. And his special choices are a cannon with the Rune of Forging, another cannon with the Rune of Forging and Burning, 2 gyrocopters, 17 iron breakers with full command shields. I'm sorry, 3 gyrocopters. And his rare choices are an organ gun with the Rune of Accuracy, and another organ gun with the Rune of Accuracy and the Rune of Forging. Here are my spells, which are exactly what they look like. And since he doesn't have any spells, here's deployment. And for the most part, I was like, bring it on, dwarves. I don't sweat you. Come on, I'm not scared. I brought my scouts out where they were on the left side there, and it was another gamble. If I went first, it was great. If I went second, I was going to lose them. So it is what it is. The hope was, with his gyrocopter and cannons way over on the left side, if I got to go first, I could, 5 or 6 dice the casket. Hit that first Zeppelin on the left there and bounce into a cannon, maybe take them both out. I know they both have 10s, but they got few wounds each, so you just need to roll a 13 on 3d6. Not the easiest thing in the world to do, but not the hardest. On the right flank there, everything else was there, and my job was to just face these dwarves in one-on-one combat and try to take them out before his war machines could take me out. I wasn't too worried about his gyrocopters or anything like that. I figured they'd run around and flame burst my archers to death, and I was fine. Whatever you're going to do, you're going to do. But other than that, the plan was go forward and beat the crap out of the dwarves until turn 6 and see who wins. Here's my opponent's right flank, which consists of a gyro blimp, cannon, and another cannon. And here's his center. From left to right, there's an organ gun, there's a gyrocopter, there's his engineer, there's his unit of iron breakers with general and BSB and a runesmith installed. Next to them is a big old unit of hammers with runesmith installed, I believe. I don't think there's anything else in there. And then next to them is the other organ gun. And here's his left flank, which consists of his third and final gyro blimp. Here's my right flank, which basically consists of my stone thrower, my unit of chariots, I believe they're the ones with the flaming banner, my titan, my archers with both lich priests, my skeleton warriors with Tomb King and Necrotech installed. And here's my center, which consists of the kitty and the non-magic banner chariots. And of course my left flank with my scouts. Here's top of 1 after movement, and I didn't get to go first. I never get to go first, so what can you do? I gotta quit gambling with my scouts like I am. But on the bonus here, I guess with his gyrocopter charging and making the charge into my scouts, he's got that gyrocopter kind of out of the way for a turn or two. I mean, maybe it goes into my casket or something. I really don't care. Other than that, though, the rest of his gyrocopters come flying up to harass my weaker units, and his units of infantry just kind of basically stay right where they are. I think maybe they came up a few inches, but nothing big. There's a better picture of his gyrocopters slamming into my scouts, and, that's why it's called a gamble. During his magic phase, really nothing happens, but during his shooting phase, of course, the organ guns, I'm an idiot, and I think that they're 24-inch range, but they're really 30-inch range, so yeah, I'm well in range, and he obliterates 2 of my chariots with his organ gun and puts a wound on the one surviving one, which is just awesome. And then over here on the right side, he does the same thing, only 1 chariot explodes, so I guess that's better what happened on the left side. In combat over here, I'm able to slip a wound through, but with combat res and everything like that, he's able to obliterate that unit, and it's sad. So, with a heavy heart, I go into bottom of 1, already on the back foot because I gambled, and I blame myself. But yeah, we go to bottom of 1, and as you can see, I move up as far as I can. I can't march or anything like that, so it is what it is. My archers kind of reposition themselves to shoot at the gyrocopter in the hopes of slipping a wound or 2 through. They don't have great armor save, so I'm hoping I can roll a 6 and see what happens. Other than that, things just move up because I need to get a hold of these units and destroy them as quick as possible because they're going to shoot me off the table. Nothing else happens. My magic phase is a joke. He spell breaks the casket spell. Luckily, he doesn't take it away from me, but yeah, he spell breaks it, and there's nothing I can do about that. My shooting phase is worse than pathetic. The catapult in true catapult form deviates so far. I think I hit a unit on my on the people next to us's table and destroyed some empire. I'm not really even sure. I was so disgusted with the catapult, I almost threw it. All my archers shoot and do nothing. I'm not able to wound anything, which is just fantastic. So we go over here to top of 2 after movement, and his gyrocopters continue to harass. His unit of iron breakers with general and everything installed charged a war kitty, needing a 9 or a 10, and of course he made it. So yeah, his iron breakers slam into the war kitty, and I knew then that his general had the multiple wound D6, what's it called, thing or whatever, where he does D6 wounds for every wound that goes through. I knew he had the double your strength thing on units toughness 5 or more. So I know the kitty's screwed. I know the kitty's dead. I know that pretty much I'm going to lose my chariots to his shooting. The kitty's going to be dead. I was hoping maybe the Titan would survive. I'm just completely screwed here. And thank you, useless magic phase. There's a better picture of the kitty's demise against a whole unit of iron-breaking dwarves. During his shooting phase, yeah, he just lays in on me and he takes out, oh god, 16 skeleton warriors with combined shooting from everything from his 2, what's it called, gyrocopters and maybe an organ gun. I'm not 100% on that one. And then over here, just like I knew, after he charged, of course, because, you know, logic and reasons, he obliterates the kitty. He does like 3 wounds get through, and he does like a total of 37 wounds to him, and the kitty just explodes, and it sucks. Can't fault my opponent for outplaying me, but he needed a 9 or a 10. I can't remember what it was. It was a long ass charge, and he nailed it. And it's like, oh, are you kidding me? But, you know, who am I fooling? I know how the dice like to roll for my opponents when they need a long-distance charge. If they need 5 inches, they're going to roll snake eyes. They need 9, they're going to roll boxcars. So, it just makes me sick when the kitty dies. But, opponent did well, so what can you do? I can just silently hate him from a distance. So we go over here to bottom of 2 after movement, and I know I'm screwed if I don't do something, so I just charge. It's all I got left. My chariots are gone from his shooting phase on the left side. I had my chariots okay on the right side. He didn't really do anything to him. So I charge my skeleton warriors into the iron breakers and make it. It was a tie between going after the iron breakers or going after the hammers. Either way, I was going to catch a unit into my flank. Either way, I was screwed. But I figured this way, not all the hammers can get attacks in on my flank. I figured I'm screwed anyway. I might as well try to take out some characters. Maybe I can get killing blow off or something like that. And who knows? But I also figured it was an easier charge into the iron breakers. I needed like 5 less inches in order to hit the iron breakers, which is good that I charged the iron breakers and not the hammers, because my skeleton warriors only charged, like, I think I rolled a 5, which is exactly what I needed. So it was a good thing to at least make the charge. Other than that, my other unit of chariots charge into the organ gun that's in the forest, and of course I fail a dangerous terrain check, and one of my chariots just explodes in spectacular fashion. So 1 makes it in, and I guess that's better than nothing. And that's really it. My stalkers, I think they come in. Yeah, they come in on the left side there, and their job is to try to take these cannons out before they can reap even a bigger harvest than they already are. So yeah, the rest of my units are pretty much dead or useless in combat, so the archers just kind of turn to face the gyrocopter because they know it's coming, and the Titan turns to countercharge the gyrocopters, provided my skeleton warriors or archers can survive their charge long enough for him to countercharge. That's really about it. And yes, I'm not expecting anything out of the catapult because that thing is slag. There's a better picture of my skeleton warriors, or what's left of them, charging into the iron breakers, and this is just desperation on my part. And there's a better picture of my chariot exploding as we charge into the organ gun that's in the trees, so at least 1 made it. Nothing happens in my magic phase again, because life's not fair, but we go into the shooting phase, and my stalkers are able to Care Bear stare the dwarves into oblivion, so at least 1 cannon's dead, and my opponent's not going to goose egg me, so I feel good about that. And then over here, the chariot's impact hits alone are able to finish off the crew of the, what's it called? Organ gun. And I just kind of turn him to face the other organ gun, figuring, well, I'm in the forest. He's going to obliterate me with the other organ gun, but maybe I'll get lucky. So if I can charge, I'm going to. In combat over here, my Tomb King does a decent amount of damage, actually. I'm able to get like a -1 strength and toughness spell, the Incantation of Desiccation, off on the Iron Breakers, which is vitally important in this combat, so I was happy about that. He's able to do 4 wounds to me, and my Tomb King alone, I think, is able to do 5 wounds to the unit. And I believe my unit champion gets into a challenge with his lord and gets pulverized, but he only is able to do like 1 wound, so it's not a big deal. I win this combat, but they're stubborn and they don't go anywhere. So we go over here to top of 3 after movement, and as we both knew were coming, the hammer slam into the flank of the skeleton warriors, and that's fine. I knew that was coming. His 2 gyrocopters on my right flank slam into my skeleton archers, and that's fine as well. I knew that was coming. And his remaining organ gun and cannon turn to face the chariot in the forest, because what else? Well, the one cannon turns to face the stalkers. The other one, the organ gun, turns to face the chariot in the forest, and his wounded gyrocopter is running around in the backfield there, just desperately trying not to die. There's a better picture of his hammer slamming into my skeleton warriors, and now I'm just trying to survive. Now it's all about points denial, you know. I don't got anything else. And there's a better picture of the gyrocopter slamming into my skeleton archers, because I'm screwed. During shooting phase, he cannonballs one of my stalkers back into the sand, and that's fine. I knew that was coming. And his organ gun flubs a little bit, and only does 2 wounds to my chariot, so it could possibly charge next turn. I was kind of looking forward to that. In combat over here, the gyrocopters lay waste to my archer unit. I do nothing in return. Charge, flank, and a boatload of wounds. I lose by enough that I've got my unit champion and both characters left, and that's it. They're still there. There's still hope, but oh man, he's just beating the piss out of me. So we go over here to bottom of 3 after movement. Oh yeah, and in combat against his hammers and his iron breakers, my Tomb King and my skeleton warriors are able to do a lot of damage to the iron breakers, but of course the hammers and the counterattacks from the iron breakers knock me down to about 22 models left in that unit, and I'm not able to resurrect any of them because I'm out of range, because I'm a moron. Yeah, it's just all sorts of bad things. So the unit's still there, but not for much longer. So as you can see, bottom of 3, there's really not a whole lot of movement because I'm mostly dead. The stalkers move up to Care Bear stare at the cannon, and in true form, my chariots charge the organ gun and fail, going about 2 inches because life is fair. Oh yes, and my Titan charges the rear of one of the gyrocopters, and that's just to try to make this unit survive. And there's a better picture of it right there, the Titan slamming into the rear of the gyrocopter. There's a better picture of my chariot failing a charge into the organ gun. When you roll a 3 and 2 1s, that's going to happen, but really could have used that charge. At least I passed my dangerous terrain check. That's something. During the magic phase, I get the Casket of Souls off on the engineer, and he dies a horrible death, and good riddance. It bounces over to the organ gun, and he rolls like 2 1s and a 2 because reasons, and so it's fine. However, the organ gun does fail its panic check and cowers for a turn, so at least my chariots get 1 more turn to possibly charge him and kill him, so I was looking forward to that. Also, during the magic phase, I'm able to get +1 attack off on my skeleton warriors and bring a few back. I'm also able to keep the -1 strength, -1 toughness on the iron breakers, so that's something at least, and I'm feeling pretty good about that. But over here in the shooting phase, I Care Bear stare at the final cannon and obliterate the 2 dwarves that are manning it, 2 or 3 dwarves. I don't remember, but basically it gets killed too, and that's really good because the stalkers couldn't tolerate another cannonball. They'd have been screwed. And then over here in combat, I don't do great. My Titan flubs all of his attacks, which is just outstanding, and he's able to slip a wound through on my level 3 sorcerer. So with flank and a wound to rear and a charge, I win by 1, and they don't care. Oh, no, that's not entirely true. I apologize. His green gyrocopter actually does fail his brake check and flees like 4 inches away. Not far enough to really matter or help, but my unit is able to turn to face the other gyrocopter, which helps with combat res for a turn or 2. But we all know that other gyrocopter is coming back. His general and his BSB are now within 12 inches of him, so he's going to be back next turn, and there's nothing I can do about that. So maybe I can finish off this gyrocopter and turn and deal with the other one before it's too late, but I'm not exactly holding my breath. Then over here in combat, It does not go terrible for me. His unit attacks the crap out of my Tomb King and is able to not do anything. My Necrotech is now in a challenge with his general, and he's not able to wound my Necrotech. It's spectacular. His BSB takes a wound, and I'm able to kill all but the unit champion in the unit of Iron Breakers, which is awesome. And I think I may be even able to take out a Dwarf Hammer or two. But I lose this combat, and as you can see, I'm down to... Well, no, I don't lose this combat, actually. I think I might win this one. But it doesn't matter. He's not going anywhere. They're both stubborn, and they don't break or anything like that. And I've got, like, 21 models left on the field. But I'm shaken apart over here, so I need, like, 4 more rounds of combat to stay. And I'm just hoping I can pull it off. So we go over here to top of 4 after movement, and of course his gyrocopter rallies, and that's not a shock. Other than that, everything else he has is dead in combat or a cowering organ gun. So his movement phase is rather quick. There's a better picture of his gyrocopter rallying and turning to face because he wants to go back into the Lich Priests, because why not? And then we go into combat, and once again, I flub my roll spectacularly. He's able to finish off the unit champion skeleton, so the unit is dead, and that was smart on his part. So yeah, he does a wound to my rear. I win by 1, and the gyrocopter, he rolls like a 2 or something like that, and the gyrocopter's perfectly fine. Over here in combat, however, it doesn't go quite as well. I put 3 wounds on the Ironbreaker unit champion, and he makes all of his armor and ward saves. It's ridiculous. My Tomb King's able to kill like 4 hammers. I think a Skeleton Warrior is able to kill a hammer. But I lose another 3 skeletons, and I think my Tomb King dies as well. The Necrotech in a challenge with his Dwarf Lord is able to survive, however. Not only survive, but take no wounds in return, which is just outstanding. The Tomb King curse does kick in, and I think I kill 2 more hammers. I think I actually end up winning this combat, but it doesn't matter because he's stubborn all the way around with a reroll, and he's fine. So we go over here to bottom of 4 after movement, and there's none. Everything I have is dead in combat, with the exception of the Chariot. The Chariot does charge an organ gun and make the charge, so that's nice. The Stalkers, on the other hand, I don't really know where to take them. I don't really know where to put them. I don't want them in combat. There's really nothing for them to shoot at, so I leave them on the hill because I don't really know what else to do with them. In hindsight, I should have probably brought them towards the combat, but hindsight's 20/20, and I wasn't thinking, so I figured I would just leave them there and they'd be safe. There's a better picture of my Chariot finally making it into this organ gun, and it has to kill him here or he's screwed. During the shooting phase, this useless piece of trash has been shooting at that gyrocopter in the back this whole game and has done nothing. Is deviated, missed, failed to wound, roll a 1 to wound. It's just the biggest. My wife did a wonderful job painting it. It's an amazing looking model, but it is useless. War machines suck. Or at least my war machines suck. Maybe other people's war machines are great. Just because my Dwarven opponents' war machines seem to be great, but mine always seem to suck. So this useless piece of shit. It misfires 4. Can't shoot this turn or next, and I'm done with it. So whatever. And then in combat over here, for 3 rounds in a row, my Titan flubs his attacks, and my Lich Priest, my level 3 Lich Priest, pays the price and dies. Yeah, to a gyrocopter, who's basically just a flying Titan, yeah, but he can roll his to hits. He kills my level 3 Lore of Undeathcaster, and that's fine. My magic base has been so stumped this entire game. I'm just, like, devastated in my heart parts. With rear to 2 wounds, it's a tied combat, and we sit there and wait for the inevitable. Then over here in combat, I'm able to do 2 wounds to the unit. There's 1 left. They don't do anything back. Charge and 2 wounds to nothing. He makes his break check because he's a effing dwarf. They don't really break. Then over here, now that my Tomb King is dead and my Skeleton Warriors are weapon skill 2, I was able to get a 5-up ward save and +1 attack off on him, but it doesn't matter. I don't do anything. He makes all the armor saves, all the parry saves. I don't even hurt any hammers because I can't friggin' hit them anymore, and they obliterate this unit. The Necrotech finally dies, which is fine. He held up against the Dwarf Lord for like 3 or 4 rounds of combat, and that's awesome. But the unit itself gets obliterated. I have 6 models left. I have no hope, and I believe it's his turn next. So we all know where this combat's going. So we go over here to top of 5 after movement, and there's really nothing I can do. He's got combat everywhere. His one remaining gyrocopter that's not in combat goes way over to his left flank, our right flank, and just sits over there, and there's nothing I can do about that. It is now fully out of range of the casket, so well played. My opponent is just outplaying me, and he's winning, and that's exactly what should happen. Oh yes, I'm sorry. And his green gyrocopter charges into my Hierophant, and so be it. You know, he's earned this one, so why not kill everything? Nothing happens in the shooting phase because he doesn't really have a target or a shooting phase, so we go into combat, and sure enough, this combat is a flubfest. He wins, or it's a tied combat because he charged and has a flank to my rear. And nothing else happens. He's not able to hit my Hierophant. I'm not able to do anything to him because reasons, and we sit there and slapbox each other. However, in the combat with the Skeleton Warriors, he's able to obliterate the last 6 guys without any issue whatsoever, and then they both turn to face the Titan and the Hierophant because that's really all that's left on the table. Over here in combat, however, the Skeleton Warriors and horses are able to put the last wound through on the Dwarven crew member, and that's awesome. So I got all of his war machines, which I feel very proud of because Dwarven war machines are a son of a gun. And the chariot just kind of turns to face the guys because I don't know what else to do. So we go over here to bottom of 5 after movement, and there's no movement whatsoever. I toyed with the idea of charging my chariot into the rear of the dwarves, but honestly, charging into the rear of the dwarves just seemed like a terrible idea. Yeah, I'm gonna do D6 impact hits, but we all know I'd roll a 1 or a 2 for impact hits, and I'd randomize into someone, and it wouldn't do anything. Yeah, my catapult can shoot this turn. My casket could take shots at them. If I was smart enough to have brought my stalkers up, they might have been able to do something, but I wasn't. So what can you do? It's too late to move them now anyway. I've got one more turn, and they only go 7 inches. So I decided to just hang back and shoot at him and maybe get lucky, because charging in just guaranteeing his points under the chariot. During the magic phase, my casket souls goes off on his Ironbreaker unit with his 3 characters in there, and I'm able to put a wound on his runesmith, which wasn't great, but it was something at least. And I'm able to kill like 1 or 2 hammers because it bounces over and hits them as well. Nothing overly big, but it's nickel and diming, and that's all I can do. And then over here in combat, or during the magic phase, I also get a 5-up ward save off of my Hierophant, which actually saves her. And my Titan is able to actually hit and wound 3 times in the gyrocopter and destroy it. I win this combat, but the other gyrocopter rolls like a 3 and is perfectly fine. My Titan, who is now out of combat, turns to face the hammers because I'm dead. He knows it, I know it, you know it, but damn it, he's going to meet it head to head. So we go over here to top of 6 after movement, and that's what happens. His hammer is slamming into the Titan, and we know he's screwed. Other than that, his unit of characters with an Ironbreaker that just won't die turns to face my chariot because he thinks I'm going to charge into there with the chariot next turn and just go for glory, and I'm not. And the other gyrocopter just kind of spins around a little bit. Or no, I'm sorry, it stays right where it's at because it's perfectly safe where it's at. There's a better picture of his hammer slamming into my Titan, and I'm hoping that maybe the Titan gets lucky, but at strength 7 to his toughness 6 and no save whatsoever, we all know he's dead. And then in combat over here, he's able to put 2 wounds through, or he's able to get a wound off on my Hierophant. I'm not able to do anything back. He wins by 1. My Hierophant has 2 wounds on him, and I've just got to hope that he can survive 1 more turn. Otherwise, just hella screwed, or more so than I already am. And then we go into combat over here, and yeah, the Titan actually does get to attack because he's initiative 1 to their great weapons, and I'm able to kill 1 effing hammer, which is just outstanding. I do my Thunder Stomps, and I do 1, and I roll a 1 to wound because reasons, and then the hammers go ahead and beat this thing back into its baser elements. It's pretty brutal, actually, and the Titan dies a horrible death, which was expected. So we go over here to bottom of 6 after movement, and my chariot just backs up a little bit because I can still shoot him, and that's it. Everything else I have is off the table, or stalkers, and they're not getting in the fight. During the magic phase, I roll 4 dice at the big incantation of desiccation, trying to make this thing's initiative or strength and toughness go down as much as I can, and it goes off, and I get it. I take the gyrocopter strength and toughness down by 3, so that's huge. Unfortunately, it was also a miscast 6 because that's what happens when I gamble. I don't know.
No! You must not read from the book!
And wouldn't you know it, my damn Hierophant kills herself with the miscast 6. Does a wound to the gyrocopter, but who cares? Just son of a bitch. It's like nothing was going my way. But, I'm used to that. Shit happens. And then nothing else happens in the magic phase. We go into the shooting phase, and I fire right at the Iron Breaker, trying to finish him off. And of course, I roll a 1 to wound on the Iron Breaker. At least I hit, but I roll a 1 to wound on the Iron Breaker. But I am able to kill his BSB, which is kind of cool. And that was something. And it also breaks his fortitude second, of course. But it gives me a few battle points, and that's better than being goose-egged, I guess. And that's it. That's the end of the game. In the end, I ended up killing my Hierophant, so I'm pretty sure I should have gotten points for that, but I didn't. My opponent gets all those points. My Catapult, as always, is there and deserves to be on fire, even though, yeah, in the end it got the BSB, but whatever. I still hate the stupid thing. It's always too little too late or not enough, and it's for 90 points, I needed to do something more. But yeah, that's what it looks like. Not a terrible showing. There's a lot of dead dwarves on the field. It's just there's almost no Tomb King stuff left. I have a chariot, some stalkers, and a casket left, and that's it. And it breaks my heart. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I don't have the chariot left anymore because after the Hierophant died, I took my crumble checks and the chariot was wiped off the table, which is awesome. Just awesome. But you know what? We'll get to the recap in a minute because right now this game is over.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
All right, guys and gals, there it is. Token Gal is back, and she's back in full operation mode of making tokens. So if you missed out before she went and got married and became Mrs. Token Gal, or however that works, this is your chance. Get your tokens now. Send her an email. Send her your monies. Get yourself some tokens. They're dirt cheap, solid gold quality. You're not going to be disappointed. Tell her Tremendous sent you. She'll probably know. But yeah, get these tokens. They're so much better than just using dice. They're so much easier to remember everything. You don't have to worry about your cards getting lost, stolen, ripped, torn, whatever. And, you know, they're glass beads, cool high-def pictures. Totally worth it. Get yourself some tokens. You won't regret it. That's right, guys. As you saw from the pictures, Unleashed Wargaming is now doing magic cards. As you can see, not only magic cards, but phenomenal magic cards. Laminated on thick cardstock, photoshopped so that it's real sharp pictures. The words are easy to read. It's real obvious they're numbered, the casting value, the type of spell it is. And they're so unique. They're beautiful magic cards. I have every intention in the world of sending just all the orders I can get to this guy when 9th edition comes out to give me a whole set of the magic cards because these are amazing. Not only does this guy do great painting, so if you want your models painted, you need something painted, and you want it painted at a real good standard, at a professional standard for a damn good price, contact this guy. Send him an email. Get yourself some cards. Get yourself your army painted. You won't regret it. Let him know Tremendous sent you. So, yeah, at the end of the game, my opponent reached across the table and slapped me in the mouth for wasting his time. No, actually, he was really cool. What can you do? He outplayed me in a big way. But this was a huge loss for me. I ended up I got like 1,048 points out of him. He got 2,307 out of me. I ended up getting 3 battle points because I broke him second. He got the full 22 out of me because I'm a giver. and there was a difference of 1,259 between us. So yeah, he got the +3 or something like that for winning by over 300 and change. I mean, it was embarrassing how bad I did. But you know what? It was a hard game to lose, but it was a fun game to lose at the same time. My opponent was really cool, and he earned it. I mean, it's not like I made a mistake, or my dice were rolling like crap. No, I got outplayed. I got beat down by a superior opponent, and I don't have a problem with that. I just don't like to lose because I'm a bit of a brat. But in the end, I ended up losing my Tomb King, my Necrotech, both Lich Priests, 2 units of Chariots, my Titan, my Kitty, my Archers, my Scouts, and my Warriors. The Dwarves ended up losing 2 Gyrocopters, 2 Cannons, 2 Organ Guns, a Master Engineer, and a BSB. So I killed some stuff. But what a grind in the middle. My Necrotech would not die against his Dwarf Lord, and his Ironbreaker unit champion just couldn't be killed. It was not his time. I guess he used to hang out with the Phoenix Guard or something. Just unbelievably stubborn things wouldn't die. But I really could have used the points. I don't think it would have swayed the game at all because I still got myrtleated. But it would have made it more respectable. And no, he wouldn't let me be respectable. And I blame my opponent for that. Damn him. But like I said, the Necrotech in the challenge with the Dwarf Lord was really tough. He just refused to die. I mean, 3 or 4 turns a combat against a Dwarf Lord who does multiple wounds no less, and he couldn't hit and he couldn't wound. It was just awesome. And then my poor cat, oh god, just got obliterated. I should have seen that coming, but you know, I was sitting on my shoulders, and I like the view. I don't know what to tell you. I wish my Titan had killed off that stupid gyrocopter a little bit sooner. Maybe I could have gotten the gyrocopters, you know, dealt with a lot better, and then gotten the hell out of the way, and maybe even summoned some undead units onto the table so that the hammers would have had, you know, less to deal with. I don't know. Anything would have been better than what he did. All it did was prolong the inevitable and got slaughtered for its trouble in the end. And a little frustrating, but the Titan's not really meant for combat. So I guess I'm just kind of whining, but it's still frustrating as hell. And I had a lot of really bad magic phases. My opponent's ability to dispel was astounding. I mean, he knew when to use the spellbreaker spells, how to use them. He knew when to dispel a spell. He knew when to let it go. I got nothing good off the entire game, and so, you know, well done by my opponent. You can't fault a guy for outplaying you, right? But you know what? This was still a damn good game. This was a damn good opponent, and I'm really glad I got to meet and play against Casey. It was a lot of fun to do that. But one day he's going to have to give me a rematch because I feel that he cheated me of a victory by outplaying me. He used tactics. Who does that? But yeah, that's going to do it for this battle report, guys. Number 189, Game 2 of the Shiloh GT 2015. As always, though, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, feel free to put them in the comment section below, and I'll get back to you as quick as I can. But yeah, guys, thanks.